Hey everyone, what I have in front of me is the cabinet door clamping system. I'm going to show you what the kit is and how it gets set up on your table. So let's go through what comes in a kit. You have two options. You have a starter kit, which will come with the regulator to kind of start the whole system. And then the other is a ×2 clamp where it comes with all fittings, everything, just without the regulator, so that when you start with the starter kit, then you can keep adding on to the whole system for the table. So really, it's only necessary to get one starter kit for one table that you're setting up, and then you can always multiply by 2 for every clamp that goes on the table. Okay, in this part of the assembly, I'm going to show you roughly how all the lines get connected in line when you're going to set this up on your table, because you can set this up however you'd like. Just there's a certain procedure to follow when connecting all the fittings. So we're going to start from right here. Let's assume that we're starting from our compressor leading in to the regulator for the starter kit. And then from there, you have fittings that you'll thread into your regulator. And from there, you'll take a short section of hose, and then you have the option of 2 fittings to then connect to your shop air line from there. So once the air comes into the regulator, then on the opposite side, you'll then connect into the whole system for your clamps. Somewhere in this line, you can attach a butterfly valve here, a shutoff valve, by clipping the hose and putting that in line with the hose. So that way you have the option, if you ever want to connect or disconnect your clamps, all you have to do is shut off the air through this valve rather than disconnecting from your shop air. So where that line runs anywhere through above your table, behind your table, you're just going to run a long length. And then from there, wherever your clamps are going to reach from, you'll snip that hose. You'll have a T-fitting. You'll put that T-fitting in line with that hose. Use the coil hose now to then reach down into your clamps to the one open fitting from that clamp. And from there, that's how you connect each clamp along that line of hose. And then you'll have in your kit some extra spare fittings. If you need a union for anything, a 90-degree, or even a cap, you'll have all of those extra spare fittings for the whole system. And then once you run to the end of your airline, you can always cap it off to always add on to later down the road. Okay, now when it comes to the table itself, this is a small sample of what you're going to be creating for yourself. I do highly suggest you use a CNC shop to cut this, because the holes can be a lot of holes to try and do by hand, and the repetitive accuracy you need to make these holes can be difficult doing by hand. So just reaching out to a CNC shop and letting them know there's information on the website how to do this. You're doing a 20mm hole every 48 millimeters on center, and you're going to put it as across as big of a table as you like to use. Right here, I have a small 3-foot by 4-foot section, but in my shop, I have a 4-foot by 9-foot table over there. So the size of the table can vary to what fits in your shop or where you want to place your clamps. The only critical thing is that you have a 3/4 material. I highly do recommend that's an MDF or particle board core, because the material itself is more calibrated to be at 3/4, which is actually crucial for the clamps to lock in. Now, if you have a different type of table you want to use, it's a different thickness, there are ways to adapt to that. Just reach out to support@KourosTools.com. We can work on figuring that out for your specific application. But the standard is 3/4 material, and then you're drilling 20mm holes every 48 millimeters on center for your table. So now what I have in front of me is my own table in my shop that I do use. And for this one, I'm going to show you kind of how it's all fully assembled and set up. This has the face frame system also attached, but I'm going to focus more on the cabinet door clamps. So like I said, when it comes to starting out the system, I have an air line that I brought down to my regulator here. From here, I branched off and put in a manifold to go to different areas for this whole table. But when you want to focus on just one system, you're going to exit out of the regulator and go right into wherever you have that valve that you want to shut on and off, so you have access to that whole system to cut the air off when you need to. So right now mine is cut off, and I'm going to turn the air on to the whole system. That hose will then continue up and over the table. And I have mine tucked away in the back side of the table. And now through the back side, I can go and possibly pull it out from here, that I have my T-fitting that I tucked behind the table to keep it out from interference with my face frame system, and then coming through one of the holes in the face there of the table. Now with these clamps, with them fully connected, I can literally place them anywhere on the table, vertically or horizontally, depending on what I do want to clamp. Now with the system, setting up the table, I do say that at the bottom edge of your table where you're going to do most of your clamping, to put 2 3/4 material pieces here. So really you're looking at a 3-inch tall by 1.5 inch thick material that you're going to be applying your pressure to, and that when you mount this strip along the bottom part of your table, put plenty of screws to secure it in so you don't have any sagging points when clamping with that pressure down, because you can apply a whole lot of pressure with these clamps and you don't want it giving at the bottom. Now, the purpose behind the 1.5 inch here is that what I have is a 3/4 thick door. It gives you some more area here to clamp something thicker. So you can go probably as far as 1.5 inch thick material if you want to, say, clamp an entry door on this whole table and use that whole force. You have plenty of space down here to push on. So setting up the table, you do that yourself. I just provide to you everything else. That way it cuts down on the whole cost of having this system set up in your shop. And that's very affordable and very modular to any size table that you want to set up that works best for your shop. So hope you enjoy the video. That's a little walkthrough on everything. It's available on the website. Orders are going out daily and weekly, so you can place your order at any time.